Well, I'm happy to say I have a brand new addiction, and that is homemade yogurt. It is so good you won't believe it, and it's so easy. You have to try it. The key to it is you gotta have good milk. That's all there is to it. You have to have, by good milk, I mean the kind you buy in the glass bottle that has the cream on top. The closest thing to milking the cow yourself. You need a temperature gun. I like my little laser temperature thing. It's fast, it's easy, gives you very accurate readings. And I do like a stainless pot instead of my other commercial aluminum cookware, because I don't want any flavor from any kind of, non-stick, aluminum, whatever it is. The stainless steel works great. So what you're going to do, in a nutshell, this milk is non-homogenized and low temperature pasteurized, which means it has everything that's good still in it. It doesn't get burned off with high heat pasteurization. You want to shake this so that you get the fat evenly distributed throughout the milk. And then what I like to do, I'm just going to make a quart. Now when you make yogurt, I like to strain it really well. To make Greek yogurt, I like the thicker kind. And I'm going to lose 50% off the top in the whey, but I save the whey and I use it for making wonderful bread, use it for baking. It's good for all sorts of stuff. I'm going to make a quart, which will leave me with 16 ounces of a Greek style yogurt, maybe a little bit more. The nice part of this is you can strain out as much whey as you want, make it as thick as you want, or leave it thin. So I'm going to measure out 32 ounces of milk. It's going to go to a very low heat. You want to maintain this heat at 185 degrees for a half hour. It doesn't have to be a half hour, but to get the really nice Greek style yogurt, a half hour helps with the thickening process. And that's where you want it. It's going to take a little bit to regulate it. So that's where I like this little laser. It's fast and it's easy to get an exact reading. So once this starts to come up to a simmer, tiny little bubbles over the top, use your little heat gun and point this towards the middle of the pot. If you point it right at the edge of the pot, you're going to get a bad reading. You want to temperature the milk. Okay, so it didn't take long at all. Only a couple of minutes, and I have this at 181, 185, so we're going to stir it a little bit, and you can see that it just has a little bit of steam coming off of it. So what you want to do is keep an eye on this for just a couple of minutes as you regulate the heat, and just let it stay at 185 for at least 20 minutes, but as I say, I like to let it go for a half hour. Well, we're back to yogurt making. So what I did with this is this hit the stove for a half hour. And what I did about every 5-7 minutes is I went over and I stirred it to make sure that there was an even heat. I have a gas burner, so I wanted an even heat, not just on the outside, but to the inside too. You don't really have to buy a yogurt maker to do this. Then, after it's been at 185 for a half hour, I started to cool it, and we want to cool this down to 110 degrees. And I'm almost there. Have 1 degree to go. Because what we're going to do, and to cool it, now that I just need a couple more degrees, all I have to do is pick it up and drop it back in. That'll cool right down. So to the quart of good milk, we're going to add a good healthy tablespoon of yogurt. Now this is some that I made previously, like a few days ago. This has all the live cultures in it. So all you have to do is go buy a container of yogurt, but read the ingredients, because all you want in the yogurt that you're going to buy is the live cultures and milk, period. No sugar, no corn syrup, no gum, no fruit, no nothing. So a tablespoon to the quart is the ratio. And then I'm going to add this 110 degree, and what I'm doing is just thinning this out a little bit so that I get a nice even mix with the rest of this milk. And the whisk seems to be the easiest way to go. Most of this yogurt making is hands-off. You know, you just have a few steps. We used to make, in my catering days, we used to make a ton of creme fraiche. Oh my God, I made so much creme fraiche, it was ridiculous. And the process is, well, not exactly the same, but the idea is the same. We added lemon to heavy cream and let it sit for 12 hours. This is adding warmed, well, scalded milk, cooled down to 110, to the live cultures, and then letting it sit. I'm going to let this go overnight. Okay, so I have a nice even mix on this, you can see, and there's no traces of any yolk. Whoops, one more little mix in there. One more quick mix. Okay, so now it's a nice smooth mix. Now we'll add the rest of it in, and what I'm going to do is wrap this in this towel, and it's going to go to my oven with the heat off all night. Uh-oh, looks like I need a bigger bowl. So here I was trying to save myself a bowl to wash. Well, that didn't work. Oh well. Anyway, into the bigger bowl. And now I can add the rest of this wonderful milk. Boy, you know, when you use good milk, you can see all the butter fat in this milk. It's really great stuff. It costs a little more, but you know what? You're also supporting a local dairy farmer, and the milk is just superior. That's all you can say. I want to mix this just one more time. Just a little bit on there. Now we're going to put the lid on it and wrap it up in this towel. And then to the oven. I'll check the temperature of the oven. Don't go turning the oven on, but I want the oven just slightly above room temperature. And it's going to stay there all night. If the oven reads a little bit cold, and this is a great little tool. I love this thing. They're really inexpensive now. I think they're about 10 bucks on Amazon. You can go in my description and I can show you where to get them. They're great. Anyway, it's also a pH tester, which is great for the canning season, so it has a double purpose. And we're going to put this in the oven, light on, 12 hours. Well, we're ready to move on to step 2 of yogurt making. I had this wrapped up in a towel in the oven overnight, plus a few hours. And you can see the milk, the fat content on the top. Isn't that beautiful? And when you dive into it, it's thick and creamy. It's just wonderful. But I want to get a little of the whey out of it because I do like the Greek style. And I am going to save the whey. So here's what we're going to do. Strainer, piece of muslin, just plain old muslin. You could use cheesecloth. And then I'm just going to pour this into the muslin, and we're going to wrap it, and I'm going to refrigerate this, and I'm just going to let it set and let the whey just naturally drip out of it. I think before I put this in the refrigerator, I want to try a little bit just to see what it's like. It's really good. All right, so into the refrigerator it goes. Now, one thing I always have to remember to do is save a couple tablespoons of the plain in case I want to mix it with anything so that I can make another batch. All right, into the refrigerator, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's completely done. I have let this drain really well for the past, it's been 24 hours, only because that has been my time frame. The nice thing about making yogurt is you make it on your time frame. The only thing you have to keep an eye on is the initial half hour, and then after that you can let it thicken, 12 hours, 10 hours, you know, whatever it takes. And it can stay in the refrigerator and drain as long as you want. Now, if I squeeze this, I'm not getting very much liquid out of it anymore, so that's nicely drained. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this to a glass bowl, and then I'm saving the whey. What I do with the whey is I use it for making sourdough bread. It's heavenly. Use it for all your baking stuff. I've heard people say that they water their plants with it too. Don't know what to say about that. I'd rather be baking with it. But using this good milk, you have the best, unbelievable, wonderful tasting yogurt you just can't imagine. And so I'll finish straining that. Now, what you can also see is this whey. I probably have maybe 3/4 of a cup, and I store this in the refrigerator in a glass jar. And then, like I say, I'll be using that for whatever I need for liquid in baking. Baking babkas, baking any kind of bread. It's just heavenly. Now, you can see that this stuff came up nice and thick. And there's so many ways to serve it. I like it with berries. I like it with honey. I like it with, gosh, so many ideas. The sweet stuff is easy. You can serve it with lemon curd. You can serve it with cranberry sauce, whole berry cranberry. And then it can go savory as well. Savory with, make a dip out of it. Add some dill, a little garlic. You can make tzatziki with it. There's just so many possibilities. Or eat it straight as it is. But I'm telling you what, once you make yogurt and find out how simple it is, you probably won't go back to store-bought, and the flavor is just outstanding. I have some frozen berries because it's not the season where I am for buying fresh. They're kind of expensive right now, and they're imported, and they're not that great. But we'll put some berries on that. A little grated lemon would be really nice on that. And you really need to try this. I also like yogurt with a little drizzle of olive oil on it. It's so good. So here it is for the sweet tooth with just a touch of honey on it. Oh my. Mint will be coming up soon. This is really, really good. You really have to try this. I hope you do. So let's just recap this real quick. We're going to put a quart of really good milk, the kind that comes in the glass container with cream on top. After you shake it up, put it in a non-corrosive pan, like a stainless saucepan or something. And then we're going to bring that up to 185 degrees, and you're going to try and keep it as best you can at 185 for 20 minutes, if not a half hour. Then you're going to cool it down to 110 degrees. At that time, you're going to take a healthy tablespoon from some yogurt that you already have and put that in a little glass container and stir the milk into that. You want to smooth that yogurt and milk out because they're your live cultures. Then slowly add all the milk in. Then you're going to put a lid on this glass container, wrap it in a nice towel, and you want to keep it in a warm spot. I find in the oven with my oven light on works perfect. Put it in overnight. The next morning, you're ready to strain it. Now, as this refrigerates, gets a bit thicker. Keep that in mind. And the nice thing also about making it is you can make it as thin or as thick as you want. Anyway, give it a whirl. Not that hard. Feel free to share the video, and I'll see you the next time. Thanks for watching.